Hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm Judith. Today we're going to do a Cornish game hen. Now this is going to be for two people and it's a fairly large one. If you can find small ones you can do a full hen per person. But this is a 1 kilogram bird, so that's a bit big for one person. And since kumquats are in season, and I do love kumquats with poultry, we're going to stuff it with kumquats instead of my usual wild rice stuffing. The wild rice will be served as a side with mushrooms and shallots and garlic. And we've got a lot of herbs and things for the Cornish game hen. But the first thing we have to do is split our hen in half and get it ready to roast. Okay, to split our Cornish hen in half, it's basically the same as spatchcocking a chicken. You use a good pair of kitchen shears and just cut out the backbone. But one step further, we're going to take a really good knife and split it down the middle of the breast. There we go. So now we have a lovely little half bird per person to roast. Just a word about the kumquats. If you've never had kumquats before, they are really good. They're kind of like a bitter orange, and you can eat them just like that. Just pop it in your mouth and go. They do have a lot of seeds, but you don't even notice them. So since we are going to roast our little Cornish hens with them, we're going to cut them in half. And don't worry about the seeds, there are a lot of seeds. I'm just taking the stems off just because I'd rather not have the stems in it. And this is going to take a good amount of kumquats. Be present. 1, 2. So we got 7. Well, I think 15 should do. Although depending on the size of your bird and the size of your pan, you might want more. Let's move this aside for the moment and get our roasting pan. Make sure you give it a good spray with your non-stick spray or oil it well. And just pop our kumquats in the bottom. We're going to take our Cornish hens. Make sure you pat them dry. We're just going to pop them in there with tucking kumquats underneath as well as we can. It's okay if a few of the kumquats get away and float about in the pan. Then we're just going to give them a little tiny brush with some olive oil. There we go. Then we're going to roast our Cornish hens. Cornish hen at 350 for about 50 minutes and just check and see if it's done. as it is a bit larger than you usually find them. I mean, Cornish hens are usually under a kilogram. This is a fairly large one. But we just want to roast it until the skin is beautiful, golden and crispy, and the meat is cooked. Okay, instead of doing the wild rice stuffing, which I would normally do with a Cornish game hen, I am going to do my wild rice as a side. So I have a tablespoon of butter. We're going to melt that in a pan on low heat. Very low, because we don't want it to color, we just want it to melt. Going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil. And basically, when you're adding oil to butter, when you're melting it, it's to stop the butter from browning. But also, the temperature of your pan is very important. If your temperature on your pan is too hot, your butter is going to brown no matter what you do. So we want this, it's on a very low heat. Just want it melted. Then we're going to put in our shallots, and that's one shallot, one medium shallot, finely chopped. Well, maybe not so finely. I always have trouble getting the outer skin off a shallot. I've discovered it's best. Just slice it first and then pull the skin away, rather than trying to peel it off from the whole shallot. And when you're desperate enough, you're losing that one layer of shallot anyway. But if you chop it, or if you slice it when it's whole, then you can easily pull the skin off. I think I missed some there. Then I have some sliced mushrooms, and these are, I think I did about 5 brown mushrooms, which are cremini mushrooms. And mushrooms will soak up a lot of oil, but don't worry about it, because eventually they will release their own liquid. And with that, we're going to throw in some mixed herbs. I have parsley, flat leaf parsley, thyme, and rosemary. So we're going to put about a tablespoon in there, and a little bit of sea salt, just a pinch. We're going to let the mushrooms cook on very low heat. We aren't trying to brown them or do anything drastic to them. We just want them to cook and release their juices. Now that we have our mushrooms cooked to the stage we would like them cooked, and we have the red wine in there, we're going to add our rice. And this is cooked already. And just break it in there. And I'm going to put a lid on it and just let everything absorb and leave it on an extremely low heat just to warm it and keep it warm. And let me give it a little taste to see if we need some salt. I think we will add some salt. So just a little pinch of salt there. That is so good. We're going to put a lid on, let the rice absorb all the flavors that are in the pan so that we can serve it with our Cornish game hen. Our Cornish hens are looking lovely, but what we want to do is get the kumquats out. I'm going to put them in a sieve over a pot because we're going to mash them. And we're going to make a lovely kumquat glaze. So, we don't need all of them. We just want to get as much as we can. Because there's a lot of kumquats in there. And we really want their juice. Now you could skip this and just use orange juice. But I do love my kumquats. And maybe leave a few for garnish. Okay, so turn your oven off. If your Cornish hen is looking lovely and brown and yummy, just turn the oven off and put it back in while we work with the sauce. I have our kumquats in a strainer over a pot, and I'm just going to mash them. And this is, I'm just using my juicer. Smells so good. I love kumquats. Clean off the bottom of the strainer there. Then we're going to add about a half a cup of chicken stock, a few herbs that we've had left over from before, parsley, thyme, rosemary, and an ounce of triple sec. If you don't have triple sec, you can use Cointreau. And I know we've got red wine in our rice, and now we're using an orange liqueur in this. But believe me, it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it back on the stove and let it simmer down. We need to reduce this. Alright, now that we have everything cooked, our little Cornish hen is lovely and crispy on the outside. We are going to just move that aside. Put a plate there. My preference for serving the Cornish game hen is to do the whole hen and stuff it with a wild rice stuffing. This hen was too big for one person, so we split it. But I wanted to do this with kumquats because they're in season and I love chicken and kumquat. So I have a Cornish game hen with kumquats and wild rice, and I hope you enjoy it. Please give it a like, please subscribe, Everything helps me advance my channel. I will see you again soon with a new recipe.